everybody, it's Chris, your community manager, here opening up the latest Home Chef box. As usual, having a few technical difficulties, which hopefully we'll get those ironed out eventually. In the meantime, got a couple of boxes I want to open up, a couple of boxes we received, or a couple of meals we received in the box. This week we have a jalapeno popper burger and a, let's see if I get this correct, I keep mispronouncing it, a barbacoa steak tacos. We're going to be making both of those. I didn't have to prepare anything for this one ahead of time, really, except I peeled the potatoes. We're going to make everything all together. And I did preheat my oven. So with the oven being preheated and the meal kit open, let's get started. We're going to start with the two things that are going to take the longest amount of time. We are going to make, oh, here it is. We are going to make the pickled vegetables for the steak tacos. And then we are going to make the fries, which take a few minutes to cook up. So we'll get those both prepped, and then we'll go to the main dish itself. So starting with this, according to the directions here, you want to prepare this by mincing the cilantro. There's no need to stem it. They send the cilantro here in a nice little package. Open that up. And we're going to mince this along with the jalapeno. So we'll mince this one up here. I'm going to grab a larger knife. Easier to mince up. Go ahead and mince that up there. And once this is minced up nicely, we'll take the jalapeno. We'll do the same thing. Oh, I can smell the fresh cilantro. It's one of my favorite. Cilantro is one of my favorite cooking ingredients. It's one of those ones that you either love it or you hate it. From the time that I spent down in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area, I came to really, really love the use of cilantro, which is really neat because both of our recipes today are going to use cilantro and they're going to use jalapenos. You're actually going to use a really neat chili and cumin powder sauce as well, or powder spice powder as well. So we'll throw the cilantro into our bowl here, and we'll take our jalapeno, cut off the end, and we're going to core it out. Get that out of there. And we're going to go ahead and dice this up as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our shallot. We're going to take about a quarter of the shallot and do the same thing. We're going to mix them all together in here. Chop that up a little bit. And one of the fun things about this, anybody who's a real chef and watches me do this probably shakes their heads and groans a little bit when I do certain things. But the idea behind these meal kits and the idea behind what I'm doing is this isn't supposed to be anything fancier than what you could do at home, which you should be able to do in your own kitchen. We've got our kitchen here equipped in a guest suite here at Everly Cape Cod. And I'm just using what we have set aside. There's no fancy chef tools in here. There's no fancy tricks. And I'm sure there are some chefs out there. Gordon Ramsay ever tunes in who's like, that's not how you dice a jalapeno, but that's okay. So our jalapeno in here. We'll get our shallot. And the instructions for this said to use just a quarter of it because we're going to use the rest of it later on in our recipe. So this one I probably could have peeled ahead of time. That's all right. We get to take the journey together, right, everybody? All right. So we'll take a quarter of this. Set the rest to the side. And following directions, it just says half the shallot. We're going to throw that in here as well. So I can already smell between the onions and the pepper and the cilantro, this is going to be amazing. Now, the recipe does call for this to be a pickled mixture. So how do you pickle this? There's a couple of ways you can pickle these. I've learned a couple of tricks along the way, having just started doing these. Last week we had to make a pickled mixture where we added just some white wine vinegar, threw it in the microwave, and let it sit for a while. Another alternative, according to this, is we're going to use some lime. We're going to use some lime juice, actually. So we're going to take our lime. I'm going to use my bar tool. I'm going to juice this here. And one lime should be more than enough. If you don't have a fresh lime, if you want to put some of these together, you can use some real lime juice that you get from the grocery store. That would certainly work. Lime is really neat, especially when you're doing some of these Caribbean or Southern types of recipes, because it gives it that nice bright flavor. Lime and cilantro seem to go hand in hand. There's one half. And here's the other. And we're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. And according to the directions, that should pickle that up. So we'll see how that works out. Set that over here. Get back over and wash my hands real quick, because now we're going to work on the potatoes. So the other recipe, the recipe for the burgers that we're going to make, calls for us to use these potatoes and cut them into strips. We're going to basically be making oven fries. There's a different name for that one. There we go. So what's also really fun about doing this live and not having done it before is if I actually injure myself with any of these knives, you get to watch me as I dial 911. Maybe I'll even keep it going. You can follow me all the way to the hospital. It can be a bit of a klutz sometimes. I'm hoping you folks can hear me as we're trying to improve the way we do this and the way we're handling these live streams. I did purchase a new microphone. So you can let me know in the comments if the sound quality is better, if the sound quality is worse. Hopefully I have a new camera coming soon, and we'll get some of that equipment sorted out. My goal is to have this work as a sort of a semi-professional level quality video. I'd love for it to be something that you guys are comfortable tuning into. And right now we're just using our webcam from the computer. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're taking our potato here, slicing it up into fries. Now you can do this to taste, basically, if you want to have them peeled or not. I don't particularly like having too much of the peel in there when I'm making them. Some people like them. There's no real requirement one way or another. You can just go ahead and cut them up. You can just wash them, scrub them, and cut them up and keep the peel on them. Some folks really like that. It's really a matter of your personal taste. So the reason we're doing these first, even though we're doing two separate recipes, is that these are the pieces from the recipes that are going to take the longest. So we want to make sure we get these out of the way so that these can cook while we get to the fun stuff. Of course, you're welcome to leave any notes or questions along the way if you have any. I can't read them because the screen's a little too far away, but I'll always try and get back to you at some point and respond. The last of our potato here. And of course, these truly are hand-cut fries, so it's perfectly fine if they're a little different in size and stuff. And take these, I'm going to throw them into my bowl here. Now, this is actually not in the recipe. They say just put them on the sheet, but I think this is probably an easier way to do this. We're going to take the fries, and we're going to put a little bit of olive oil in here. It says 1 teaspoon, but who am I to measure that? And I'm going to take, make sure I follow these parts of the directions, get the right stuff in there. The seasoning rub. And like I said earlier, it's chili powder and cumin. I believe it's probably equal parts of both, which they're both great spices. I love having some fun with. So I'm going to throw these in here. I'm going to toss them in the bowl. Try and get them nice and evenly coated. It's a lot easier than trying to coat them and spread it out on the baking sheet. All right. Now you can see they're all nice and evenly coated. I have my baking sheet already ready to go. Put them on here. Just spread them out. And these, according to the directions from Home Chef, go into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm sorry, nope, that's wrong. They go in there for about 25 minutes. So we're going to put those in there. And again, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get that done first. Now, while those are cooking, we get to get started on the really fun pieces. So we're going to start off with, let's do the jalapeno burgers first. Now the directions here, basically they say to prepare the ingredients for jalapeno burgers. So we're going to leave this stuff aside. We're going to move over here. The ingredients call for us to mince the cilantro once again. So we're going to take the cilantro for that recipe. Again, these all come in the same Home Chef box. And if you're unfamiliar with them, you get a box in the mail. Each meal comes in a pouch like this, and all the ingredients you need are right there. And the recipe comes with a little card that shows you exactly how to make it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm hoping that if you're interested and you're curious about this, if you're a resident of Everly, you can contact me or Angela. We'd be more than happy to go ahead and give you the discount code so you can get them at a discounted price. If you're not from Everly and you're interested in learning more, you can go to homechef.com. I'd be more than happy to pass on that discount code to you as well. But you can order these meals and we can all make them together, which would be a lot of fun. So this recipe here, first steps calls for me to do the same thing I did with the last recipe, which is to dice the cilantro, or to chop the cilantro, I should say. And come back to the jalapeno. We're going to go right back to stemming and coring the jalapeno. So if you missed the first couple of minutes of the video, this is exactly what I just did before I got into the potatoes. There we go. All right, we're going to chop this one up as well. Now I do cheat a little bit with these recipes and try to read a little bit ahead, but I try not to read too much. So if it looks like I'm fumbling a little bit, it's because I'm as new at this as you are. If you've opened up your package and you're sitting here looking at the recipe, we're looking at it together. With the exception of the fact that I preheated the oven, there's a few things that I prepped ahead of time. Basically, I'm going through this recipe for the very first time with you. The reason I do that is because I want you as a resident or you as a participant or you as a viewer to realize I'm not getting paid by Home Chef. I have to buy these meal kits. I just want you folks to realize that these are really easy, fun ways to make some real restaurant quality meals within a half an hour. We try to do 2 at a time. So again, you catch me as I kind of fumble through these and I check the recipes and I double check the recipes. It might not be the best theater and it might not be the best show on TV, but it's about as real as it gets. So let's see. All right, so there's my jalapeno. I'll check on this real quick. That's fine there. And here is my diced jalapeno. Now, one of the things that the recipe does recommend, which I think is probably a very smart idea, after you're done dicing the jalapenos, because we are going to be using it for a bunch of other things, they suggest you wash it. Which, if any of you have ever diced a jalapeno and tried to change a contact lens shortly thereafter, you know what I'm talking about. That's probably a wise idea. So we'll go ahead and clean this up. And I'm going to flip it over as well. All right, so according to this, I've got those ingredients prepared. Now I'm going to prepare the patties. So let me go ahead and grab my meat out of the refrigerator here. Because we're doing 2, I've got sliced beef for the tacos and I have ground beef chuck for the jalapeno poppers. So we'll start off with the ground beef chuck. open this one up. It says to throw it into a bowl, which I have done. And we're going to contain the jalapenos, the ground beef, and half of the cheese that they provide with. So I've already got my cheese in a ramekin here. We're going to put half of that in there. The rest is supposed to be used to top your burgers. We'll put in the jalapeno. And I don't know how much I should put in there. Maybe I'm feeling a little industrious. Why not? They gave me a whole jalapeno. I'll put about most of it in there. All right, here we are. And we're just going to mix it all up. Now you may want to add some salt or pepper. The recipe calls to add some of that if you'd like. Sometimes I don't like to add too much salt. Some people do. But the idea is you season it to taste. Let's get that here. I'll add a little bit of salt and pepper just because they advised it. Some salt. And we'll mix it up again. What we're going to do is with these, we are going to make 2 patties. You can order the kit if you want in order 4 patties. You get double the amount. It really is a matter of what you prefer. You make 1 big burger, I guess, if you really wanted to. So we've got this all mixed up here, and it recommends that we make 2 patties. And then we're going to make these up and put them into a saucepan. So let's split it right down the middle there. Now here we have 1 patty loaded with cheese and jalapenos. Another patty also loaded with cheese and jalapenos. I have a feeling I'm going to be paying for this later on. And we're going to add these to a frying pan. So I've got my frying pans out here on the stove. Fire this one up. It was really fun. Somebody last week actually put a comment that said, "Nice kitchen." Well, one of the reasons I do this is because I like to show off where I work. And these are the kitchens in all the apartments we have here at Everly Cape Cod. So if you're curious about learning a little bit and you're watching and you're not a resident, come on down. We'll take you on a walkthrough. Anyway, we're going to add some olive oil to the pan here. And according to these directions, we are going to toast our rolls first. So this came with our rolls. I'm going to put these here in the olive oil. I'll let them toast up for a second. And after those are toasted, we'll switch over. Actually, I'm going to switch the pan we use. As a matter of fact, we use a different pan. So looking at the recipes we have and what we have to do, I think I'm better off putting it in this pan when I cook the burgers. And again, we learn as we go. It's kind of fun experimenting and learning along with all of you. I feel very Mr. Rogers. I should probably come in here and change my sneakers and put on a sweater when I come in for this. So here we are. We've got these. We're going to toast up these buns real quick, and then we're going to throw in our patties and let those cook up. Now, while we're doing that, we are going to switch over to, make sure that I have everything here correct. We're going to switch over to the steak tacos. Now, there's a couple of different things. It said, 1, prepare the ingredients. We're going to half and peel the shallot, which we already used a quarter of that. We're going to mince the cilantro, which we already did, half the lime, which we did. We're going to core the tomato, and we're going to cut it into, it says, 1/4 inch diced. check over here. Oh, those are toasting up really nice. How are we doing over here? Pretty good. So those toast up a little bit. Learned my lesson last week not to let them sit for too long. Like I said, we learn together. So here is our tomato diced. More of those ramekins. Where's one that I've already used? So we'll put our tomato in here. And our shallot, we'll bring that up, and we're going to make sure I do that. Half and peel the shallot, slice halves into thin strips. So. There we go. All right, so let me check on my toasted buns here. Oh, it's toasted up nice. Toasted up nice. That one is ready. All right, fantastic. So that one's ready. I'm going to put this down to some medium heat. I'm going to put my patties in. And we'll let those cook up. Now, back to my steak tacos. So we've got the vegetables are ready to go. It says to make the cilantro cream and warm tortillas. So we're going to grab another bowl here. And the cilantro cream is pretty straightforward. We're going to combine the sour cream, the cilantro, a teaspoon of olive oil, a teaspoon of water, and a pinch of pepper. So let's do a teaspoon of water. Like how I measured that? That was fantastic. Do a teaspoon of olive oil. I think that was more than a teaspoon. And we're going to add the sour cream that they sent along with us. I'm not quite sure how much this pouch would be. It says 1 ounce. We'll add that in. And we will add the cilantro. And according to this, it asks for a pinch of pepper. Grab a fork to mix that all up. You can see what I've got going on here. And we'll check on our burgers. Those are looking good. Nice and brown already. I'm going to lower the heat a little bit more so they don't cook quite as quickly. You can see I have them cooked on medium heat right there. You can see already they're nice and browned on one side. I'm going to cook a little bit slower, so let those go. It's the nice thing about a gas stove is you can actually regulate and manage how that goes. Oh, look at how well those toasted up. Look at that. Nice toasted buns. And in this one it says, the same heat, we're going to heat up our tortillas. So we'll throw those on there for a couple seconds. I'm not going to make a ton of these right now. I'm just going to make a few. And then what it says is to place them after you pull them off onto some aluminum foil to keep them warm. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Nice thing about these tortillas, you don't have to warm them for very long. You can warm them up, it just takes a few seconds on each side. Let those burgers cook on low. And you can see the difference between a warmer one and one that hasn't been warmed. Really, it just softens them up and makes them a little more malleable. All right, so my tortillas, nice and warm. We'll put them in this aluminum foil and set them aside for a little while. And let's see what the next step is. It says to start using the start making steak strips. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our sliced beef, and actually let me get one more of these ramekins so I can put my shallots away. I think I need to invest in some more ramekins. And interestingly enough, the past couple of recipes have sent shallots along as opposed to an onion. I love shallots. Given any opportunity, unless the recipe really specifically calls for onions, if you really want that flavorful oniony burst, I always go with shallots over onions. It's just a personal preference of mine. Just find them to be more flavorful. So here we go. Open up our steak. And it's already a shaved steak, so we're just going to throw it into the bowl just like that. So according to this, it says add olive oil and steak strips to hot pan. Well, the pan's already hot, so we'll just add a little bit more olive oil to that. Something I've always thought is cool. Put olive oil into a cold pan and it just kind of is nice and thick and viscous. Here it just runs. The pan's nice and warm. The olive oil is already hot and it just gets everywhere. It's just so neat. So my son would say, science. So we'll put that over medium heat, and we will add our steak. Stand over here so you can see. And again, the nice thing is these all come pre-portioned. Set it for a meal of two, so you don't have to measure anything. You just kind of chop and go or drop and go. If you decide to recreate the recipe on your own, get as much as you need. So we've got that going. That's going to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to add the shallot in. We'll do about another 2 minutes on that. You see how that's cooking up right there. Personally, I think that for this type of steak, 2 to 3 minutes is probably a little on the long side, just because the meat's going to continue to cook after we add some other things to it. And we don't want to overcook the meat. If we overcook it, it's going to lose. It'll just be too chewy. It'll be very tasty. So I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait until it's all browned all the way through. I'm going to wait while some of it is still pink, and then according to this, I will add the remaining shallot. And this wants us to cook the shallot for another couple of minutes. We'll let that heat up a bit. And we'll take a look at how our burgers are doing. They're doing pretty well. Yeah, we'll turn the heat up a little bit. It's not cooking as quickly, quite as quickly as I would have liked it to. And let me see. So we got the shallots, we got the seasoning. So we're going to add, next, after the shallots, we're going to add some tomato seasoning rub, a quarter cup of water, and some salt and pepper. And they want us to stir that until it evaporates. So we'll go ahead and we will get the chili and cumin rub and the tomato. Not so sure how much water I want to add to that. So let's see how that goes. It's already got a lot of water in it already. The shallots are softening up nicely. The meat still has a nice medium rare color to it. Meanwhile, I can hear my burgers over here are cooking and sizzling. They sound like they're doing great. Just looking at them, I can see the colors, the juices, everything's coming through really nice. Give that another moment or so. And once that's done, we're going to prep our tortillas. We've got our cheese, and we have our taco cheese. We'll add the salsa to the top of that. That will be actually part of the recipe, so that'll be mixed in. So really, all we're going to do is put them on the tortillas and add some cheese. The burgers are just about done, so we'll get those ready in a few moments. We'll be able to top those with what I have left. The topping for that, what we have our the cilantro sauce goes here with the tortillas. We have here is we actually have dried jalapenos. I did sneak a bite of these earlier on, and these are what taste like the jalapeno poppers. So you get this. You're going to end up with this nice spicy burger. I have a feeling with this nice baked fried jalapeno flavor. It's going to be really interesting, along with the cheese we're going to put on top of that. So let's come back over here and check how we're doing. All right, so you can see the shallots have softened up really nicely. The steak is browning up, but there's still some pink in there. That's a good thing. Go ahead and add our tomatoes and our chili, cumin, and spice. I also want to send a nice special shout out to Frank and the girls at Made Pro, who came into the kitchen earlier today and cleaned up my mess from last week. They've been doing a lot of work for us here at this community, which with everything that's been going on and the concerns that everyone has as far as safety and cleanliness, they've done a really great job representing us, and we're so happy to partner with them, and we're so happy to have them as part of our family here at Everly. So thanks to Frank and Made Pro. You guys are wonderful. All right, so you see how that's cooking up. We're going to let that continue cooking for a few more minutes. Flip my burgers over. I think we're going to want those burgers to cook just a little bit longer. So now, as far as the barbacoa steak goes, oh my gosh, between the chili and the cumin, it's amazing. I don't know how many of you have worked with strong spices in the past. It's nice that they send it along, but cumin is one of my favorite spices to cook with. That and celery salt. They're strong flavors. They're strong, rich, smoky flavors, but my gosh, they really do take your flavors to the next level. So if you're curious and you're sitting there and you're saying, oh, I'm trying to make my shepherd's pie, or I'm making this beef dish, or I'm making something I just don't know what to do to take it to the next level, throw in a little bit of cumin. Try it out. You might surprise yourself. All right. So those burgers are finishing up. We're going to go ahead and plate up a couple of tacos. Still nice and warm because they're in our aluminum foil. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this, we're going to add some of the, according to the directions, I'll read them to you. It says, plate the dish, fill the tortillas with the beef mixture, the pickled vegetables, which we made 20 minutes ago or so. the queso fresco, cilantro cream, and the remaining cilantro. So that's what we're going to add in. So we're going to take the queso fresco and the cilantro. So there is our stuffed beef taco. Wow, that smells good. See, the part of these videos you don't see is me chowing down on this stuff after it's done. I can't wait to dig into this one. So, we've got our beef. We'll add some cheese. We've got our pickled vegetables. Some of those in there. And then our cilantro cream. We'll add some of that on there as well. There's too much. We'll make sure we have enough for everything else. There you go. And I don't have a fancy taco rack, but here is your steak taco. So you can mix up a couple of those. You can roll them like a burrito. That is one tasty looking dish. And boy, does it smell good. Now, I think it's time to switch over to our burgers. You can take our well-toasted bun here. What we want to do is we want to add some mayonnaise to the bottom of the bun. That's the recommendation here. They send you, the nice thing is they send you 2 pouches of mayonnaise for 2 burgers. You don't even have to worry about measuring. Of course, I don't know anybody who measures mayonnaise, but hey. They're trying to make it as easy as possible. Like that. Put that on the bottom. Now, some people might not be fans of mayonnaise. I'm going to tell you, for those of you who are trying a jalapeno burger, you want as many creamy-based items as you possibly can, because that's what's going to cut through some of the spice. Take our burger, and then we're going to add some more cheese on top of that. And then our fried jalapenos. Well, let's make it look like they do in the pictures on the menus. That looks a little nicer, doesn't it? And go to our oven fries. We should be done now. And we'll plate those up. These look like they cooked just the right amount of time. Here you go. Your jalapeno popper burger with the fries in the oven. Your barbacoa steak tacos. I hope you have as much fun putting these together at home as I've had here. I love playing with the recipes. I love playing with different concoctions and combinations, and I love learning more about how these flavors combine together. Hope you've had a good time.